Hey everybody, Dave Clark, aka the Pattern Guy. Hey, I'm gonna continue on with the cylinders today for the trains. Okay, like I said when I was leaving last time, I glued the ends on these things. Okay, it's cylinders. I'm getting to work on the saddle right now. That's the part that goes in between. Okay, so I'll show you, you know, as much as I can, step by step. Okay, one of the things I was gonna tell you too was. One of the reasons that, you know, I was telling you about draft and radial draft the other day. Like I said, it's I just do this stuff off the top of my head, and what happens is it's, you know, I think of things later or whatever. So one of the things I was saying was, it's, you know, if you just put, you know, straight draft on both sides of certain patterns and that, it looks hokey. Well, here I'll try to chalk talk this a little bit and demonstrate here. Okay, so like I said, not the most perfect artist here. Okay, so here's like a typical steam locomotive cylinder. Okay, comes down here, way out of scale here. Okay, all right, so if I were to, you know, we got our core coming through here. Okay, let's put our parting line on here too. Okay, so we got our core coming through here. All right. Okay, now if I were to just go ahead and sand draft on this, okay, you know, I would sand draft here, and then right here you need draft here also. Okay, these particular ones we're not going to, because of you know, we're gonna have a you know, this is gonna round, and then we're gonna put a fillet in here, so that'll alleviate it from having to add draft here. However, if this was deep enough here, you know, where I didn't have enough round, I needed some draft in here, okay? So if I were to go ahead and just sand draft on here, you know, say this is the cylinder, all right? You know, instead of these nice straight lines, you know, I got that, you know, that's kind of, here, let's do this, all right? So basically what you're ending up with, instead of having, you know, a nice rectangular shape, okay, and just say, you know, these things need to be rounded over, okay, all right, so that instead of having something looking like that, what you're going to end up with is, boy, that black marker really sticks on her, doesn't it? You're going to end up with, you know, this is exaggerated draft too. Okay, you're going to, you know, have a piece that looks like this. Okay, so that just, that to me is unacceptable. You know, I want this thing to look like this. Okay, what it would like in real life here. Okay, so that's the reason why we put radial draft on, okay, because then you'll have these nice straight lines down here, okay? So that's why I suggest try to do it as much as you can. It looks neater, nicer, neater in that. So, you know, literally, I tell you what, this is why I'm doing this too. Okay, it's because I really, truly want craftsmanship to come back here. Okay, it's just, we're just losing so much in the, you know, computer stuff and that, and you know, which is fine too, but it gets to the point where guys can't do this stuff anymore. To me, you know, it's my opinion because I do this kind of stuff every day, right? But it's, if we don't have the artistic like feelings in us, or you know, the want to make something good, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, to me, it's not a good thing, right? So I'll try to teach you as much as I can to do things as good as you can and the reasons why we do it, okay? And there are some instances, like I say, where, you know, you don't have to do everything so perfect all the time either, but that's part of becoming a journeyman, okay? I was working with an apprentice at Ford the one time, real nice guy, and you know, I actually had him for quite a while because what Blaine and I did, Blaine and I were partners at Ford, all right? And the job that Blaine and I did, it was the most advanced fixture we had at Ford at the time, so it you know, needed a lot of instruction. So Chris, his name was Chris, I should say Guy, who was older, not older than I was, but anyhow, Chris was working with me for quite a while, and he was with us for about 3 or 4 months, I think, something like that. And he turned around the one day and he's like, you know, hey, how long have you been a powder maker? And, you know, in your head, you're thinking 10, 12 years. It's like, 25, something, you know. It's like, holy cow. And then he said, really, what's the difference between, like, an apprentice and a journeyman? And, you know, it's kind of hard to say. Knowledge is a huge thing, right? You learn things. But I think one of the things with it, too, is not only you're learning knowledge of things that you have to do, we learn a bunch of shortcuts on how to do stuff. We kind of learn how to cheat a little bit, you know, and it's, you know, you can cheat every once in a while. You know, like I said, I'm not trying to make a MacGyver site here. Sometimes I do have to. And you got to excuse me, too, with this. Like I said, I want to make a MacGyver site, but like I said in my last video, too, you know, not everybody has a shop like this. You know, I have a very nice shop. I've been very lucky. Like I said, my dad helped me out with a lot of this stuff, and a lot of his buddies helped me out too. So it's easy for me to say, don't use a 6-inch disc grinder to do something, you know, do it correctly. Well, yeah, you don't have a 24-inch disc sander, you know. So try to, if this is something you want to do, you want to do it in the future, that, like I said, try to start amassing machinery and that. Go to auctions if you can. Go to, in Cleveland, like I said, I'm still learning how to do a lot of this. Joe does another thing here too. Well, I mentioned Joe. Okay, we got Joe, my old apprentice, or my old master that I apprenticed under. Okay, the old German guy, Joe, he passed away. And then Joe, my Joe, is my daughter's boyfriend. They're, you know, they've been going on for kind of, Joe does most of the filming, and he does all the editing. He takes care of everything. So, you know, I'm kind of oblivious to that kind of stuff. So that's a Joe I talk about when I, tell you guys about Joe here. Okay, so anyhow, it's I'll try to get Joe in the Cleveland area. We are so lucky because we've had so much, there was so much industry in this city. And we have right now up in Cleveland, like I said, I live south of Cleveland. Up in Cleveland, there are 3 huge just used machinery brokerages or whatever you want to say. The one that's called HGR, Hit the Ground Running. Just remember, they got an awesome website, HGR. No matter where you're at. Actually, one of my customers out in California bought a lathe, had it sent out there. It cost him a couple $1,000 to get it sent out there, but it was worth it for him. So they have, if you can imagine where HGR is now, it used to be an old Fisher body stamping plant, so you can imagine how big this place is. It's ungodly huge. I believe it's 9 acres under roof. I'm not 100%. It says on their website. It's just ungodly huge. And I mean, they got everything in there. They got everything. It's unbelievable. And sometimes you'll go there, they'll have a bunch of wood stuff one time, and then you go there a month or 2 down the road, there's absolutely nothing in woodworking, but they also have a ton of metal stuff, metal A's, bridge parts, just everything like that. They had CNC stuff there. They're really good with, if you buy something and it doesn't work, you take it back, no questions asked. You know, it's no big, within like 30 days, I think, something like that. So they're real good with that. But the other thing they have too is, I had a buddy of mine, I suck at electric, so I had a buddy of mine helping me when I bought the joiner. If you didn't see my shop tour, I got that nice American 24-inch joiner. It didn't have a motor, so I went up there, 5 horsepower and under motors up there are $49. So I actually found three horsepower ball door motors, brand new in the box, $49 each. I just bought all 3 of them, you know. And I had a buddy of mine help me set it up, so we needed a starter and everything for it. And we went to, there's a local electrical supply place here. They wanted for the starter and the box and everything. I think it's gonna be like $180 or something. So we went up to HGR, found a used box. I spray painted it. Looks brand new. You know, John wired everything up. It was like $35. You know, so, you know, like I said, they got a really good website. Their sales guys are pretty good too. So, you know, if you live out in California, whatever, give them a buzz up, get on the website. If you're looking for something too, what happens, just call them up, get a sales guy, and when one comes in of what you're looking for, he'll give you a buzz. You know, they're a real good place. So, you know, that's one thing we're lucky with here. And then, like I said, as far as woodworking stuff goes, believe it or not, my dad just got a Grizzly catalog. I haven't had, they used to send me one every year. I haven't had one of those things in forever, nor has my dad. Just happened to be over there. So one of the things I saw in there that, you know, like I said, if you're just starting out, and if you just want to do this as a hobby too, you know, they had a combination oscillating spindle sander and a little 12-inch disc grinder for, I think, $695. I mean, that, to get started, that's not bad. You know, I mean, it's expensive for me. I'm serious to this day, but, you know, I mean, for something, like I said, if you're just doing this as a hobby, or if you're just getting started out, to me, bandsaw, oscillating spindle sander, and a disc sander is the most important thing you need. So there's 2 in 1 right there. You know, and then find yourself a nice little cheap bandsaw somewhere, okay? So let's get back onto the cylinders. Like I said, I got the cylinders done. I started working on the saddle in between. Now this is, I was telling you the other day, I was showing you my layout, and I didn't want to put too much onto the layout because it just get too complicated and too much. I'll probably, what I'll end up doing too is, for doing the interiors of the cores, I'm not 100% sure, I might start a different layout, just do kind of like just a detailed layout. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do that. It depends. I haven't got into that cylinder yet. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, this is kind of developing. You try to develop a plan. This is developing as it's going along. There are a couple things on here I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but what happens is as you're building the pattern, you know, things start, you know, getting in your head where it's like, oh, okay, oh, I can do it this way, or I can do it this way, or I can't do it this way, or whatever. So every time I turn around, look at this thing, try to get a plan going, game plan, it's just, I see something else, and it just, you know, it's just, I'm going to just start building it, and then we're going to go from there, okay? So one of the things I'll show you, I started working on the saddle. What I'll do before I take you over there, I'll try to show you this with the layout here. Like I said, this stuff, it's hard. It's going to be hard for you to follow this. Like I said, it's definitely not like an apprentice thing, but hopefully I'll show you this project and you'll get things, you know, from it as we go along. All right, hang on, I'll come grab you and we'll take a close look here. Hang tight. Okay guys, I'm going to show you this layout here, and like I said, it's don't get frustrated if you can't see what's going on. This stuff takes years, I'm telling you, and this is something, it's hard to explain. I'll explain it to you, but it's, you know, unless you know a lot of stuff already, it's going to be hard. Hopefully, as I do it, as I'm going along, you know, things will start clicking a little bit, but I think sometimes, like especially for me, if I see something that's more difficult, kind of makes simpler things easier down the road. So here's what I'm doing here. All right, so what I'm working on now is I got to work on the saddle here. Okay, right in here. All right, so in doing this, I don't know if you watched a video the other day, but this is the parting here, okay? So this is gonna be the drag half. All right, so the mold's gotta come right up out of here. The mold will come up here. All right, so we got this section here where there will be sand underneath here, right? So we're not gonna be able to pick the mold up. So we're gonna have to core this, and actually all under here too, that is right here, okay? So that's actually, you know, sand will be underneath there also. All right, so we're gonna have to, I gotta have a core come out here. All right, and then we got the cores here, so we're gonna have to integrate them into there somehow. So that's gonna be kind of a trick thing. I think what we're gonna end up doing there is we're gonna have to set one set of cores and then set another set of cores. It's kind of, sometimes you have to set cores inside cores, okay? So anyhow, back to this. I'm working on this here. All right, so the core is going to be here. All right, so what's going to have to happen is this core box here, what it's going to have to do is I'm going to have, it's got to slide in and out this way. All right, and then plus this way. Okay, so basically what it is here, I'm going to come out with a little bit of a ledge, put draft on here, okay? But what's going to happen, this stays straight, but I got draft going the other way, so that when I get my core out of the core box, I can, you know, there's going to be draft in the core box where I'm going to be able to get that core out. All right, so what I did, I went over to the mill here, and here's the saddle. Okay, now this would be the front over here, and these are the sides. So what I ended up doing, it only goes up so high. All right, now this is like I said, I want to make this as a permanent piece of equipment. I want to make this as solid as I can. So since I have this milling machine, what I was able to do was have this solid block. All right, and then I just milled this 2 degrees this way, 2 degrees that way here. So that's where the cores will be able to come out of the core box. All right, and then I got this ledge that I need, okay? But if you don't have a milling machine to do this, make it a solid block and cut this out. I mean, if you want, I wouldn't do it, but you could do it by hand, or you just glue a block up this height, you know, make it rectangular shaped. You know, this is perfectly square. This is where the cylinders are going to go into. All right, so this is perfectly square. All right, now this here with the angle on here, you make this block first, and then you just get a block of this depth, and then put your 2 degree angles on it and glue it on. Okay, but like I said, I was able to do it, you know, machine it off. Okay, now how I did this too was, you know, if you're unfamiliar with milling machines, okay, this table's perfect, perfectly square with the spindle and that. So I just took my protractor, you know, it's on 2 degree angle. Just put my protractor up there, and then the block set at a 2 degree angle, right? And then I just bolted it down here, did 2 degrees on this side, and then kitty corner over here. And then once I got this side and that side done, you know, we unbolted everything, flipped it 2 degrees this way, and then I got this side and that side, okay? So it's kitty corner, okay? So that's how I did that. And like I said, if you got a milling machine, you know, you can go ahead and do that. But like I said, if you don't, just glue it up into different blocks, okay? You know, like I said, I want to try to make this as solid as I can, so I was able to do it like that. But got to figure out different ways to do stuff, all right? So let me get to the next step, and then I'll get you guys back, all right? Talk to you in a bit. Okay, guys, here, I'm going to have you bake my hand for a minute here. I wish Joe was here today. What I'm doing now, I showed you the bottom part of the saddle over on the milling machine, okay? That's this piece right here, okay? So that's this piece, okay? And then that's kind of this looking from this way, okay, but that'll be this right here. Okay, and that's the thing why you want to do a layout too. See, I'm right where I gotta be, okay, on this too. So, like I said, 2D to 3D, right? Okay, so the next part I gotta do here, I've got a radius here, okay, so I'll cut this out, sand this out on the oscillating spindle sander, okay. Then I need to make a piece to fit in here, okay. So I got this piece of stock right here. All right, now you see how I got this piece clamped up here, right? So if you see from my layout, my center to strike this arc, actually this arc here and this arc here, okay, the center's all the way up here. So instead of having a big huge block of wood that I'm just going to cut out and do a lot of waste, what I ended up doing was I ended up just clamping this piece on, and then you take your square, it's got to be square, all right, and then you strike your line, and then you get your arc up here. Okay, now this piece right here, that would be this piece here. The bottom of this, it's not, it doesn't matter if it's square or not because we're striking this center line, okay? But it's got to be square this way, and then it's got to be flat so it you know, clamps up to this really good and tight, okay? So we got our arc out here. Here's my center line here. All right, and I got my dividers. I'll try to do this here. I'm not sure if I could. I already set this, okay? So you take your dividers and you make your arc, okay? That's all you do. And then what I'll do is I'm not gonna be able to do it while I got you guys in my hands, so I'll set it for the smaller or the larger radius down here too. We'll do that. I'll strike that. Then the next thing what I'm going to do is I got an oscillating spindle sander this out, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this block as is. I'm going to cut this out first, sand it out on oscillating spindle sander, and then I'll cut the outside and take it over to the big sander and sand it, okay? If I were to do it opposite, if I were to do this side first, I really don't have anything to hang on to when I'm trying to cut this out on a spindle sander. Okay, now with this piece of wood, okay, like I said, I'm gonna make this big, I'm making this piece right here. Okay, so, but when I started out with this has to be perfectly parallel, okay? Because when I set it up on the sander, in the oscillating spindle sander, it can't be cocked. Otherwise, these lines right here, this line right here, actually this one I didn't put the inside, this is here, right? So if this here constitutes this line. So if I have this cocked a little bit, it's not straight, and I don't have a perfect center line here, all right, this line here, I'll have it here, but then we're going to be up here, all right? So that's where I'm saying you got to keep everything square and flat. That's the other thing too. This is perfectly parallel too, all right? So you got to start out that way. Keep all your stuff square. Like I said, wrap your center lines all the way around, okay? And a lot of times, like with this particular part right here, I'm going to cut a piece off, sand it, all right, so my center line is going to be gone. Okay, on the top here, let's go back here. All right, so right here, like I said, I'm going to cut this out here first, put it on the oscillating spindle sander, but I'll still have this center right here. All right, so what I'll do is it goes all the way around too. All right, and I got it wrapped under here. All right, so this is going to be gone. That's going to take my center line off this surface up here. So I'll just put it back on again, okay? And the same thing, once I cut down here, this center line is going to be gone. This one will still be here. This is parallel, so I'll be able to put another, center line on here again. Okay, now this is going to be important for the way I'm doing this too. I got to have this sitting on top of the saddle piece perfect, You see this cutout here, all right? Like I said, since I have a milling machine, I'm just gonna stick the saddle back up on the mill, and I'm gonna mill this pocket out. Okay, I'm gonna put a tapered end mill. You know, this has got to be tapered in here. I'm gonna put like a 3-4 degree end mill in there, 5-degree end mill, and I'm just gonna cut that out. So, you know, you guys, if you don't have a milling machine, like I said, you got to cut this thing short here, right? So what you might be able to do, you know, here would be a block, here would be a block, but instead of having this solid like mine is, and I'm gonna cut this out on a mill, right? You could just get your, you know, from here to here, I think it's like 5/8 wall thickness, you know, same thing here, you know, so you build that block up all the way around, okay? So it's a little different, but like I said, there's just my first Boss Bob. Sorry, something just went in my sinuses there. Mahogany dust is something else. My first Boss Bob, you know, that's what he would say all the time. You give 100 pattern makers the same drawing, and everybody's going to do it a different way, okay? So depending on, you know, your equipment, what you have, and all that stuff, I'll try to, like I said in the beginning here, I don't want to MacGyver everything, but I'll try to suggest certain ways that you can do things if you don't have the equipment I do. I'll try my best on that. So let me get on this thing, and then once I get it done, I'll pick you guys back up and I'll show you what I got going. All right. Okay, guys, I got the saddle pretty much wrapped up here. So what I'm going to show you, I'll pick you up in a second, show you what I got. You know, this shows you 2D to 3D. Okay. So basically, this is what we're trying to teach you. Okay. Like I said too, with this trade and doing things, it's like one time I'll show you how to do something one way, another time I'm going to show you how to do something a different way. All right, so this particular job right now is what I'm doing is building. I'm just going to build the pattern. Okay, the pattern's pretty much done. I just got to glue some stuff up. I'm going to have to put the saddle on the Bridgeport when we're going to cut that pocket out, but then the pattern will be built. Okay, so from there, what I got to do is I'm going to start figuring out cores and core sticks from here. All right, that's the next step I'm going to do. So I'll definitely get you on that one, because this one's so unique. It's going to be kind of a neat job here. So we'll get you in on the core sticks, show you how to make some core boxes. Like I said, really unique core boxes and that. But one of the things is this is such a complicated job. We're kind of developing as it goes along a lot of times too, right? So I'll pick you up and show you where I'm at right now before I let you guys go. And one of the things is you're going to notice like all the corners are still, you know, straight, and I didn't round any of the corners off. So here's where it comes into, like, sometimes you're going to do things different times, okay? I'm going to keep all the corners sharp until I'm done building everything, okay? And the reason I'm going to do that is it's easier to measure things on the pattern as you're going along. If I start rounding corners, you know, see I got a rounded corner here, right? So, yeah, probably should have done this backwards here. Let's try it this way. Well, let's go. So say I got my center line here, okay? All right, pattern comes out in the corner rounds and you get draft on it, okay? So I gotta measure, say I made this piece, I gotta make the other piece, or just you know, whatever. I mean, it just all different things. All right, so take my measuring stick. You know, where am I measuring from? Here, what? So if I kept it straight, right, I know I gotta, you know, come all the way over to the end, okay? If I got the corner rounded, it's a little more difficult to measure off in that. So that's why I'm keeping these straight for right now. A lot of times, especially bigger jobs, you know, and then with the bigger jobs too, you're actually, you know, a lot bigger radiuses, so you don't want to do stuff by hand. All this stuff, like I said, my grandfather's one chisel. I can keep that thing so sharp it stays sharp. I'll just go around, buzz all this stuff, sand them, and that. We're going to be good on that. You know, you could take it on the router, but the other thing with that too, if I do that, if I start rounding all the corners, also, there might be a spot where I miss where I don't need to round the corner off, and it's rounded off. Well, now I gotta fill that back in. So yeah, I can use Bondo, which it'll hold up for now. But you know, 10 years down the road, you know, they're gonna be in the foundry, and that chunk of Bondo's gonna fall off, and it, you know, it's not gonna rewrite. So try not to do that as much as I can. So this one, I'm just gonna round all the keep all the corners square for now. We'll round them all off down the road. Once we start finishing this thing, like I said, like the bigger ones, you can take a router, you know, it's easier, you know, usually, but like I say, this one's complicated too. So I'll let you guys go today. Here's where we're at. I'll pick you up and I'll show you, okay, and then, you know, the 2D to 3D, you can start seeing it develop into 3D. So I'm going to start working on the core boxes next day or two, so I'll make sure I got the camera, and we'll start working on the core box. All right. Okay, guys, here we go. Here's what it's looking like so far. Okay, and if you can see, I actually have it on the layout. All right, so that's another thing for the layout. I'm kind of double checking myself, right? So it's there. You know, there's that offset parting a little bit right there. Okay, so then if we take this top part off, whoops, there's that part right there. Okay, that's actually here. That would be this part. I'm not going to be able to do this all the way here because it's just not going to hang together. Okay, then I take that out. That's all this in here. Okay, I got to put this little detail in. These are ribs, so I got to add some ribs. I got to add ribs on right here. All right, and then there's my cylinders. Take it off. That's exactly what they look like. All right. Hey guys, so you're starting to learn 2D to 3D. That's what pattern makers do, all right? Hey, I appreciate if you guys subscribe and everything. Need you guys help with that. And have a good one out there, guys, all right?